Okay, so last time we were running into this issue where for some reason Yesod writes into this temp directory in specifically static temp here, and it generates these like auto-generated files. Okay, well, as it turns out, those auto-generated files don't work when we run them on Heroku. um, Actually, I'm kind of confused at why they work locally, but it is what it is. So I found this mechanism for taking these and just embedding them. And so there's this tool here, this project here, Yesod Static, and I think it's included by default. So you just need to use this example. And basically, it tells you exactly what to do. So you just need to read this paragraph, and it kind of tells you how to do this. So if we just quickly go over the changes um, in settings, what does it say? Oh, settings static files. Sorry. In settings static files, this thing becomes the following template Haskell code, and this just makes all of the static related stuff work. So there's a directory of static dirs that it grabs from the settings. So if we look at our config settings here, you can see that, where are they? Static. Yep, so here's the static dir. Hey Gil, how's it going? So the static dir just contains these JavaScript HTML files. So that's what that is. And we just embed all the files in that directory. And there's also like some development time settings. I don't actually know what the dev settings do, but we can also configure those in our environment. So that's that. So we do that, and then we use the type embedded static in your site. So that's in our I think it's in here. No, it's not. It's data app. So in here, there's also an app static, which is the static file serving piece. You need to change that to embedded static. And then apparently there's also embed static content in here. And I basically replaced the code here with this embedded static. And then app static is where we get the um, the generated code, and then we can just minify the results. And then that gets served on static R, which is in here. So static R is this route here. So those assets get served on static, and then we're good to go. So that's how static works. And I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Just getting this going. So that's basically how you use this Yesod embed static. And if you do that, what is it called? Heroku dashboard. If you do that, you can spin this little thing up and it will work. We got to wait for the dyno to like start. They're much faster now. I feel like they used to take a while. So now we can have all the static content on the page, and it's served all directly from within the Docker container, and we're good to go. There is one downside to this, though. I keep saying my bitrate's unstable, but I'm not dropping frames, so we're probably okay. The only problem with this is that literally every time you want to run the app or you make a change, you have to rerun it because it has to compile. Any change you make to the static file needs to be recompiled, which is unfortunate, but like there really isn't going to be that much JavaScript or HTML work that we have to do, and we're going to test it locally anyway. So like our like feedback loop on the front end work is not going to be super fast, but like it is what it is. Okay, so there we go. That's the static changes. And the next one that I need to talk about is what we're going to work on today, which is oauth. So in packages YAML, I added a file or a package, Yesod. It's kind of a weird space here. Yesod auth oauth2, and oauth2 is here. So this thing is available here, and we found, or I was messing around with this last night, and I found out that the version that I'm using is actually 0.6.3.4, and the reason is just, well, that's just the version that's in Nix packages, but I kind of want to update to the new one, and I'll show you why. So in Twitch, so basically I copied the code for GitHub. We can just like grab the source code, and so I just copied the code over to here and started running it. So the basic idea is you have to define a user, and it turns out that Twitch will pass you a user underscore ID, which is just an integer, and that's going to uniquely identify a Twitch user. And we need to be able to read these things for that user. Really, I just need to. What do I need to know? I don't actually need these for you. Like, I should actually probably remove the scopes when someone who is not me is logging in. But you know, all I need to know from other people logging in is who they are. That's it. So anyway, we can remove these for other users as well. So that actually shouldn't be that difficult. We just need to case on who's logging in. Because if it's me, then we want to add scopes. But if it's everyone else, then we don't really need any scopes. I don't think. I think you can figure out who follows you pretty easily. Okay, so the weird part is this part right here. So they have an OAuth callback here, but you can't actually change this to, you can't actually use that as your redirect URI. I assume that this is like generating JSON that says like underscore, or just callback equals or something. And so that doesn't work. So we kind of have to do this little hack where we pass the redirect URI into this part of the query, the endpoint. So it's a little awkward. Like, it works, kind of. I actually want to make sure that it's totally working. But we could update. This could be like a to do. I didn't put it in here, but we can. So to do depend on 0.7.0.1. So that's basically what we want. We don't really want to do this. So the next thing is I need to mess around a little bit with this. So there's some stuff I have to do off screen because I can't show you some of this stuff. But basically in my console for Twitch, I'm just going to update my redirect URI to auth. Okay, so basically these things need to match what I have in the Twitch console. And I guess the idea here is that we don't want to use somebody's secret to redirect to, or sorry, we don't want to authorize for someone's application and then redirect them back to somewhere that they don't recognize. So that's why these redirect URIs need to match. So like they know that this is going to come from my application. And then obviously when we get to like actually having a host and a port that aren't trash, then we'll be in better shape. But we need to test this stuff locally before we can actually like put it on the website. And by the website, I mean on Heroku. Okay, so let's try this with auth like that. There's a bunch of stuff that I unfortunately have to do off screen when I'm doing this. Whoops, because like now there's stuff being logged that you can't see, and it's a little annoying, but the other thing is for the auth in um in not here setting, I added the client ID and secret down here. So now these things are you can read them directly from your environment, and so I put them in my nvarc such that I can like make requests to Twitch. So now we're gonna test this thing off screen, obviously. So I'm gonna go to localhost 3000. I'm gonna press login, and let me just show what this looks like before I take it back off screen. Basically, it automatically generates this login via Twitch. Let me show you where that happens real quick. So it should be in Yesod auth, I think. It's data. Yeah, no. Yesod auth. Sorry, I forget where this happens. Hang on. Maybe it happens in Foundation? Yeah, here it is. So in auth plugins, basically we include the oauth Twitch plugin, and that generates that HTML that I just showed you. And so we can deal with authenticating users. So there's also like the dummy auth so that you can log into the site locally. I don't actually know if we'll use this, but it's here if we need it. So, okay. So anyway, now off screen, I'm going to press login via Twitch, and it's going to come back with a code. And then it's going to say that that isn't found. So basically, we get the code, but it doesn't understand what to do right now. So after thinking about this, I remembered what causes this. It's easy to get the redirect URI wrong in the OAuth 2 application setup. Please make sure it's correct. Okay. So it's literally called callback. Let's try that. Close this. Go back over here. Change this to callback. And then rerun. Okay, so we're building. Sorry I have to do this all off screen, but it shows a code that would give you read access to like, I guess it's only read access to my stuff, so it's not that big of a deal, but still. Okay, supposedly it's running. We log in via Twitch. And we get login failed, which is something new. And we get a dispatch error. Okay, so it says OAuth 2 result error. Decode error. Error in key. Missing client ID. Huh? So somewhere in here, where is it? Mm, missing client ID. It's weird the order of these things happening. Because it says that it's missing OAuth 2 result error. What is this thing? Maybe this is the problem? Maybe auth get profile doesn't really do what I needed to do. Auth get profile. So what does this do? Yep, this looks like what's erroring. Okay, so construct part of creds extra token. Okay, so I think that we have the token here. But we're failing here, maybe? I don't really. I think this is what's throwing. Nice. Auth get byte string URL. Oh, this isn't the right version. That explains a lot. So we want here 0634 source. Name. Oh, this is the URL. Okay, so let's see. I'm dumb. So Twitch, no, dev Twitch TV. and then docs and auth and validate. What does this thing say? Missing client ID. Oh, maybe the token. When you send the token, it also needs the getting tokens. Yep, it needs the client ID, I think. Oh, that's revoking. So if we go here, we do this, redirect URI code, blah, blah, blah. And then we go to authorize. We get back the code. And then we need to make this request where we need to pass both the client ID and the secret. Okay. And apparently also the redirect URI. So I think that here we need to pass um was it text encode UTF-8? Oh, I already have it as T. These these code data text encoding. So let's see if this changes the error at all. This is unnecessary. Apparently, I think it comes in from this import. Followers or anything? Nope. How's everybody doing this morning? Okay, so we're now running. Log in via Twitch. We get redirected. Okay, new error. So it says error user ID, parsing int failed, but got a string. Okay, so I think this is going to cause some like actual build issues. It apparently doesn't. Okay, whoops. Okay, so we just edited this. Okay, and we need to rebuild. And we'll see what happens. My guess is we're gonna get failures in code now. Well, no, because it just like t.packs. So I think that this might be enough. Okay, so we're running. We log in via Twitch. We redirect. You are now logged in. Okay. So we are now logged in. Okay. So 1 second. Let me see. So I don't recall. Okay, so anyway, I get like an identifier, which I assume is my Twitch key. Um, okay, so somewhere in here, I get creds and do something with it here. So we get my identifier. And then we return this, and then we do that. Okay, so now we know who we are. But how do we... How do I now make requests on behalf of this user? Well, anyway, this is like something done. So we should like format this. And okay. Oh, I wrote Yesod off, but like it's really Twitch off. Okay, so let's look at that example one more time and see what they're doing with this. So we want to do tags 0634 example this. What do we do with the actual result when we get it back? So my guess is I now have a cookie over here. Let's see. Um, where is that? Security? Yep. So I have a session going now. So I guess I know who I am from my session, which is good. And so what we need really is to store the other components somewhere. So I need to get like I need to get more information. So what information do I need? Um and what's a good way to actually like save this information? Should I just like store the access token? Do I need to store this code? Or should the code have to be So I think when your session expires, you need to get a new code. That should be probably what we do. Which means I think that we can just store an access token and then there's a mechanism to like validate it somewhere. So we should store these these three things and we should probably encrypt them in the database, but I don't remember how to do that. So persistent encryption Haskell encryptable. Is this what I want? Okay, so these are just text fields. Okay. Uh, user storage. Is this the library I should be using? Like, I have no idea. I wonder what we use. Maybe. Maybe not. Hard to say. That's what I was just looking at. Eh, well, for now, we're not going to do this, but we should do that later. So we're going to say that user is actually a data. The user is going to have a Twitch ID, which is going to be text. And then we'll have the access token. I need to see if that's like really the right package I should be using. We probably want to turn this into, well, time zones are hard. Eh, it's probably not that important. Okay, so instance show which user something like this. Okay. How do I want to write this? Probably like this. And then refresh token. Okay, next. Uh, so this just becomes Twitch user ID. It's already text. Okay, so what's creds extra? Oh, I see. So this doesn't even matter actually, because that stuff's gonna go in creds extra. But I think I need that stuff, otherwise it's not gonna work. So we're just gonna do that. And then we need to figure out what this creds extra thing is. So we're getting there. Okay, just text to text. So we set creds, set extra. What's that? Set extra. So this takes construct part allows the following keys. What does that mean? I don't understand what this is doing. Okay. So, oh, it's 9 o'clock. Unfortunate. So I think that in our creds extra thing is like the stuff we actually want. Let's just like find out. Okay. So this user is a model. We have a password, maybe. And actually, we can just delete the password because there's no passwords for this. We're going to have an identifier, I guess. We could also really just call this Twitch user. We also don't need any of this. So, this can just be ID. And then that's required. Also, we're going to have an access token, which is text, a refresh token, which is text. And then in here, we're going to get a unique Twitch user. Twitch user. So these are in extra. May set the following keys. So we need to really turn this thing into a map, I guess. So we can just say um and then we can just make these maybes. So like we may get them. I'm guessing. So this is just going to be map dot from list creds extra, and then this will be map dot lookup access token map dot lookup refresh token from creds extra map. Something like this. Data map strict okay, and then we need to rebuild okay, we'll just call it ident. And then down here, wherever that was, this becomes ident 240. This becomes Twitch user ID. Okay. So profile. So this becomes Twitch user ident. And then profile.hamlet becomes Twitch user ident. Ident comment. So we source handler home raw.js make build. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is go back to foundation, just say I think that's basically the last of it. And then we'll have the access token to play with. We know how to refresh it. So we should be good. And if like the refresh token doesn't work, we can just log the user out, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to figure that stuff out. So diff so we store access tokens and remove comments. Okay, cool. So that's it for today. We basically I showed off the static stuff that we fixed, and then we got Twitch oauth working. So now you can log into the website with Twitch, and now we need to figure out what to do with that. So the next step is like creating probably an associated type class to start wrapping the Twitch API so that we can get followers and subscribers. And we'll have my access token so we can work with that. Or we can go get that stuff after logging in, which is really nice. And then what else? Or what next after that? Start trying to display stuff to the screen and then work on animating messages and stuff like that.